Hello, Ben here. Hope you're well and welcome to episode 18 of Benjy's Cafe podcast. Joining me in Benjy's Cafe this week is the chef Pete Simmons, co-founder with Amy Stubbs of Jnr.Chef. Amy and Pete launched Jnr.Chef in August 2023 and their mission to give every child the opportunity to learn to cook, offering interactive cookery classes with all the ingredients delivered to your door. Jnr.Chef also works with British Triathlon to provide their Active Skills for Life programme in schools around the UK, promoting healthy eating, nutrition and mental health. In this episode, Pete opens up about his personal journey and how it led him to start Jnr.Chef, and we discuss Jnr.Chef's mission to bring the joy of cooking to children.
For me as a chef, one of the things I've taken from it is that people are really enjoying my recipes. A big thing for me is trying to get across that cooking is really simple. And it doesn't really matter what you're making. If you break it down into understandable steps, you can cook whatever you want. And the kids are loving it.
It's an exciting venture and an inspiring story. Pete and Amy are so full of passion, you can't help but smile. Pop the kettle on and enjoy listening. Welcome to Benjy's Cafe, Pete Simmons. Good morning. Thanks for joining me in Benjy's Cafe. How are you doing, Pete? Are you doing well this morning?
All good, Ben. Thank you very much for having us. Love that big up you just gave us. So.
Listen, you're welcome. We love a big up to get the day started. Have you had a good morning so far? It's just lovely to have some quiet time before the day kind of gets going. Would you agree, Pete?
Yeah, that's it, exactly. I'm also a chef, so I do a lot of late hours. I like my lions in the morning, a couple of cup of teas, and then start the day. So this is generally my morning time. What are we on, about 11 o'clock?
Well, when I first met you, I thought I've got to get you guys onto Benjy's Cafe, just completely in line really with kind of like my life ethos of doing something to help people. Your company, Jnr.Chef, I think it's wonderful. I just want to read out a few testimonials that I sourced from your brilliant, vibrant website, if I can, just for our listeners. Number one, we've had 2 boxes so far and absolutely loving it. My son's quite fussy, but because he's cooking these amazing meals, he's eating every last bit. Wow, that's a good one. Number 2, my family have enjoyed 3 meals from Jnr.Chef and have been blown away by the taste, quality and variety. And number 3, and I love this one, I honestly can't recommend Jnr.Chef enough. Her confidence in the kitchen has grown so much and we are both counting down the days for our next kit to arrive. Fantastic company and fantastic product. When you hear those, it must be lovely to think that through an idea you had, your company has formed, you're flying and you're helping and inspiring children in the kitchen and bringing families closer together. What were your early memories? You are a professional chef, but did you come from a household of cooks? Was it, or were there lovely memories of being around the dinner table? Can you remember the smells of like a good family meal?
Yeah, well, I'd say it is probably my family that's inspired this idea in the first place. You know, my mum was an amazing cook. She used to bake cakes for pubs and restaurants, and she'd deliver them to these places. So there was always something cooking in our house. So like you say, those smells going around would always inspire me. I'd been doing the cooking for the family since I was like 10, you know, so I'd been doing it on a Sunday, and then as my cooking got, you know, I got more experience, I would cook a lot more. But what the main thing for us was that family time, bringing everyone around the table together, those moments where you catch up on school or you catch up on what's going on in life, and we just felt that had, it's not died, but it definitely, you know, a lot more people are, you know, eating their dinner in front of the TV now, and it was just really nice to try and bring everyone together, and cooking's a great way of doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess the idea was inspired from you know, kids not having the same opportunities to learn to cook or that family time anymore because of busy households, because of, you know, how easy it is to get ready meals from the supermarket, how easy it is to go down to McDonald's, you know, that side of things was dying, and we very much want to bring that back.
Yeah, that's so true and so lovely to hear. Like, I remember even during the week, you know, I'm old, like nearly 50, my goodness, I'm a right old fart. But I remember like even the thing of like being invited round to a mate's house for tea during the school week, it was like a thing, and slowly over the years you see that kind of dissipate and kind of disappear, and it's such a shame because when I was doing that, it was kind of like a confidence thing. It was almost like I've got to improve my communication skills. You were chatting to your friends' parents, learning off them, and just helping your kind of self-confidence, Pete. That just great for you to see how much of a difference and fun you guys are bringing to people's kitchens.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And for me as a chef, one of the things I've taken from it is that people are really enjoying my recipes. These are all recipes I've designed, they're all family recipes that I put together, and the feedback on the food and the simplicity of it. Because a big thing for me is trying to get across that cooking is really simple. And it doesn't really matter what you're making. If you break it down into understandable steps, you can cook whatever you want. So as you've probably seen on the website, we're not teaching the kids how to cook scones or to make a quiche.
Yeah.
We're teaching them, what's the recipe this month? We've got roasted sweet potatoes, satay curry, and we've got a chocolate chili con carne with roasted sweet potatoes. So,
Oh,
it's proper family, good quality
oh God.
food, and the kids are loving it, and it's getting them eating
Yeah.
something they wouldn't normally eat as well. So that's been definitely one of the biggest things for me, is seeing how the kids are reacting to the meals that we're providing and how much fun they're having, like you say.
Yeah. Pete, you're making me hungry there. I'll pop back in half an hour. I'm just going for a second breakfast. I love my food, and it's so great to see the kids' faces. It must be a help for the parents to see. It's like another learning curve for their children, isn't it? And when they must realise, oh my God, through cooking, it's improving the confidence of our child, but also maybe bringing the family a little bit closer together, which, certainly modern families might not have had that feeling too often. Well, the variety is amazing, isn't it? It's like such great variety. Like I've been looking at the menu, and it's like, oh my goodness, this looks wonderful. At home it's usually Spag Bowl Monday, and we have a list, and we try to add new dishes to it, and we always forget, and we end up having the same thing every day, which is lovely and tasting. We do eat well, or certainly try to eat well, but it's great that children and the families have a real choice of good menus, don't they, Pete?
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the biggest things for us that we've noticed is that the meals that the kids are cooking are generally better than the parents can cook themselves. So getting feedback, the parents say they're learning a lot from this. They'll get involved as well. The kids, it's a family activity as much as it's just for the kids. So the parents are getting involved as well, and they're learning a lot from it. And that was always our intention, really. To like the whole family can learn from this, not just the kids. And if everyone can get something from it, then even better, because the parents are the ones who are going to be cooking the majority of the time. So it's been quite nice to, we've had loads of feedback saying, the chicken pie is now in our weekly schedule. We do that every single week. Or we did the katsu curry, but instead of doing chicken, we did it with fish. And,
Yeah.
like all these recipes that are coming into this routine of theirs, which is quite inspiring for us, or especially for me, to know that as this grows, so many families will be cooking the recipes we've come up with.
Yeah, and I just think it's fantastic. And every evening we have our dinner. We're quite sad, Rita and I, but hey, we don't care. We'll always sit and watch an episode of like Dragon's Den. The joke is on a mobile, so we sit next to each other. It's like our quiet time. Rita's really busy. I'm pretty hectic too, but we just sit and we watch a Dragon's Den. And I swear to God, after I first met Amy, as soon as we watched Dragon's Den, I was like, Jnr.Chef. Oh my God. Like Theo would snap you up. Pete would love it. Deborah, she'd be all over you. And it's the branding, the energy you bring behind the company that I just admire and love so much. I think you've got such passion for it, both of you. I completely agree that I think if you really believe an idea, if you just can, and it is bloody difficult, isn't it, just to take a little leap of faith, a little chance, a whole new life and existence can open it almost, can't it? You must be so happy you took that leap, but it is tricky, isn't it? And Pete, when was that on something you wanted to do for quite a while before you put the idea to Amy? Had you had this idea? Had you seen younger people enjoy your food in the kitchens you worked in, or had it always been there for you, that passion to want to help the younger generation of cooks?
100%. I'd had the idea probably 4 years before. I've been sat on this idea for a long time, I used to live in Berlin for 7 years, so I was cooking
Wow.
for one person, doing his like breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. Well, 5 days a week, and yeah, it was funny. I was just walking through Berlin, and I'd been just thinking like an idea is going to pop into my head, and it's going to be amazing. And anyway, I was just walking back from Berlin, like walking through Berlin, sorry, and it just came into my head. It was like a cookery class for children, and I was like, how can I grow on that? And then I thought about other things that are in the, around. I thought, the box idea could really work for them and how we do that. But I left Berlin. I wasn't very happy there. Came back to England, decided to set up on my own, and it was just figuring out what to do first because
Yeah.
I had to bring some money in, and I'm
Mm.
also a private chef. So I set up a private dining company that's been going for 5 years now, and it's really successful. But it just felt like the right time a couple of years ago when I could take a step back from that, had a bit more security behind me, and that we could go for this idea. And I discussed it with Amy quite a lot, and she showed a lot of passion that you don't very often see in younger people. It's
Yeah,
especially in
yeah.
this day and age, it's hard to find that passion. And just saw something in Amy, and we discussed it, and we just thought, right, let's go for it. So we set up the company. We we raised £150,000
Wow.
funds, um, and yeah, we launched in August last year, but it's been going for about 2 years. But obviously, there's a lot to do, building apps and filming videos and setting up companies.
Pete, what I'd love to ask you, you mentioned that experience of leaving Berlin. What prompted that? Was it tough working in a foreign country, or did you just feel like I'm ready to get home and start this new chapter of my life?
Sorry, this is not the easiest question to answer, but I'll do my best. So I travelled for about 12 years in total. So I've done the French Alps, I've done obviously Berlin, we've done a lot of South Africa, Bali, and I was primarily cooking for one person. And in Berlin, I don't know if you've been, but the winters are horrible. Like they're -50
Yeah.
in there, cold, bitter winds, it's icy. So after like our second year, my boss at the time was just like, from now on we're gonna skip winters and we're gonna go away somewhere for that sort of 2 month period or 3 month period, and we'll go somewhere hot and we'll cook there. So it was a really amazing job. It was super exciting. A few things happened in my final year in Berlin, but
Mm.
primarily the main thing was I lost my dad, health
Pete.
and drug abuse, which put me in a place where I was just rethinking.
Yeah.
I'd been cooking for this person for many years now, and so just struggling with the point of I wanted more. I wanted more.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the way where my life was going. I was drinking a lot of the time myself.
Mm.
Berlin's a crazy party town, so it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There's always something you can do, and we did it.
Yeah.
So I think a few things, like I say, I lost my dad, and that was a really eye-opening thing for me. Of like, hang on a minute, if I don't calm down, then the same thing's going to happen to me because he was only 53 when he died.
Gosh. Okay.
And so then, whilst I was in Berlin, I made the conscious decision to stop drinking. But at the same time, I felt a lot of pressure because all my friendship group drank. They all wanted me to go out. I
Yeah.
felt this thing that I didn't have the ability to go out without drinking. I felt I needed it to bring my personality out. And ultimately, I realised by how difficult it was for me stopping to drink alcohol that I was definitely an alcoholic.
Mm.
I was needing alcohol to function in a lot of ways. I was needing alcohol for meetings. I was needing alcohol to go out, to
Yeah.
socialize. So it all hit me. It all hit me at once, basically, like a big, punch around the face. And from that, I fell into a depression.
Mm.
Um, I really struggled. I was very close to committing suicide, actually. And yeah, came back to England. I moved back in with my mum. I just was very open. I said what I was feeling. I said where I was in myself, and um, yeah, it was a bit like start again kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I started seeing a therapist who was amazing for me, and I still see her now, that helped me get that focus again, that helped me think, you know,
Yeah.
what do you want from your life? And ultimately that was cooking. You know, it was cooking and working for myself. You know, they were the two things I wanted. And so, like I say, I set up the private dining company, which became successful. And the best thing about that is I'm cooking every single weekend, so it's very easy to avoid alcohol. You know, and over time, it just, you know, my relationship towards alcohol changed a lot to the point where,
Yeah.
you know, I was very against it for a couple of years, and you know, I wouldn't go around people who were drinking or whatever. To the point now where I'm at, where you know, it is what it is. People always, you know, life's hard basically, and everyone needs something maybe to take the edge
Yeah.
off, or you know, and I can very much take it or leave it now. I very much leave it the majority of the time, but
Yeah.
you know, if I had a beer, I wouldn't like beat myself up about it or stress out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, so just to go back to what you were saying in the first place is, you know, from Pete Cooks to get that into a nice place, I then thought it was the right time to set up Jnr.Chef, and obviously spoke to Amy about it, and she was really keen to get on board. So we
Yeah.
put it together really, and it's helped me so much on my personal journey.
In all honesty, I completely admire you. The way that for such a young man to realise the problem and to address it, it's just so much courage, and I've got so much admiration for you. And the beauty of it is, even throughout that dark period, to have the strength to then recognise what is going to make you happy and to do something about it. I completely commend you, Pete. And you know, I imagine the world of cooking and kitchens are, you know, very busy, hectic places, and the go-to would be a drink, especially in Berlin. My goodness, after a busy shift. And similarly in theatre, you know, it's so social, and it's just the go-to, the done thing with amongst a company. Finish a show, go to the pub, and you know, I'm so sorry to hear you had a difficult time, Pete, but just like massive admiration that you've used that to kind of fuel helping younger generations in the kitchen, helping yourselves, and that you're happy. I think it's wonderful. And to have that support from Amy, I guess that you're both so like-minded and having this passion, like what a beautiful like marriage of personality. And it's just a great story that through a crap experience, if you can find that little spark and strength, things can head in the right direction, can't they? It's honestly so great. It's making me smile. And similarly, Pete, it's like I've had some tough times, and you know, 3 bouts of therapy to help me, and it's very hard to explain on the outset when you're an outgoing person. People think you're the fun person, you're the fun guy, and to even reach out to people, it's so difficult. But when I look back, and like getting therapy was especially for a bloke, like the best thing I could have done, because slowly I'd start to feel happier. You can, you know, process things, and you realise what does make you happy. And when you get to that stage, like that's why I say, Pete, you should be so proud of yourself. Give yourself like a massive pat on the back and a hug, because it's like it's difficult, but how lovely when you're at that stage and that's gone, and you can appreciate what a great life you have now. And I think it's wonderful. I really do. And do you get feedback from families? Like, I imagine like for kids that on delivery day, it's like Christmas morning for them. Like how great, they get 12 Christmases a year with Jnr.Chef, don't they? When like they must absolutely look forward to that bell ringing and the deliveries there. There's a lot of thought behind it. Pete, can I ask you, how is there difficulty in keeping the ingredients fresh? Like, is it quite a quick turnaround from that delivery day? I mean, that must be hard to gauge, right? I imagine.
Yeah, so it all has to happen fairly quickly. We've got some great packaging solutions, and the things that we use inside, it's made from sheep's wool, and it keeps the food cold up to about 48 hours. With
Wow.
in there as well. but there's still the point of we have to get all the ingredients. So say, for example, we're delivering on a Thursday. We'll have all the ingredients ready for the Tuesday with long enough dates on that they last to the following Tuesday. Pack everything up in a sort of 24-hour big blast, and then DHL trucks come and collect all the boxes, and then they've got like a very strict time schedule. It has to be delivered within 24 hours, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very much in the planning. We spend the sort of 3 weeks prior to delivery week planning, getting everything organised, organising the packaging, organising all the food, the ingredients to be delivered, to then have that crazy week where it's like boom, 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 get everything delivered, and then it's relaxed for one day.
Pete, I was going to say, like, once all the deliveries are gone, you must be exhausted. What's your go-to to wind down? Do you guys enjoy a movie, or is it literally just sitting in silence with a cold towel over your head?
Yeah, all sorts really. I manage a kids football team, an under-15s football team that my little brother's in.
Oh,
so
wow. Amazing.
And Sundays I can switch. So that's very much a chance for me to switch off. Amy,
Can you be the next England manager, Pete, please?
I haven't played better football now at the moment, that's for sure. Yeah,
that's great, and it must be, because that's all intertwined, isn't it? Increasingly, the health and fitness of youngsters with healthy eating, and I know you guys have partnered with British Triathlon, haven't you? And I think it's wonderful that increasingly schools, organisations are seeing the equal importance of life skills like cooking, educating children at a younger age, as is exercise. I think that's a great marriage. If you're yourselves and people really can see oneself enthusing about an idea you have or a project, and people warm to that. Pete, would you agree with that? It's like just through, even if you're just saying hello to somebody, if you can make a connection, it blows my mind what it can lead to.
100%, and that's why I'm a big advocate of just talking, and
Yeah.
just meeting people, just speaking, and just any conversation can lead to something you can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Us going and cooking for Team GB, we didn't think that they'd all be interested in Jnr.Chef. We thought they'd be like so big and they wouldn't even think about us, and then they loved it, and now we're going into schools with Team GB, British Triathlon, so I think as long as you yourself and you're honest and you're authentic, you're going to meet people and they're going to see that. And I suppose it's the same reason we're on this podcast. Amy and yourselves have met, and here we are. So it's just have conversations, have thousands of them, and you never know where they'll lead.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but certainly since I've chosen being alcohol free, it's almost given me, it's just made me feel a bit braver to speak to people. And on the outset, I'm quite a confident guy, but it is sometimes, if you are a bit tired or feeling a bit lethargic, it's quite easy just to think, oh, I'm not going to make too much of an effort today. But if you do, and I think being alcohol free has given me so much more energy to do that and think, what's the worst can happen? It's just mind blowing, isn't it? It's like, God, and I drank for years. It's like, gosh, I'm sure. And weirdly, it's given more opportunities to me by the contrast. I think having a drink will give me confidence to make connections. Now I don't. I'm far more sociable. I'm far more myself, which at first is scary to be yourself. But when you are, and it just leads to so much. I can only see it growing. Pete, is it kind of mind blowing when you think it was an idea you had and it's just escalating beautifully, isn't it? Is that daunting, or are you just strapping in and going for the ride?
I'd be lying if I said it wasn't daunting. It can be overwhelming. Me and Amy were just discussing this yesterday. It's amazing where we are, compared to where we were. It's actually incredible. And now, we were just looking like we've got customers all over the country, and they're all in this like clusters of where they must be talking about it to people.
Yeah.
There's 20 people in the same area, and it's like, it's just great to see as it's growing. We can really now see this as like a big company, compared to in the beginning. As much as we would dream that, it all seems so far away. We're in quite a small venue at the moment. We can probably back about 200 boxes at a time, but we're just having meetings at the moment with the distribution centre who deal with Gusto. and mindful chef, and they want us in their distribution centre right away, really.
God.
And so all these changes are happening, and I just feel like I can I can really see it, and I think Amy's the same. We can just see what this can become and how much of an
Yeah.
impact we can truly have now on a bigger scale.
Yeah, because you've got that vision, haven't you? And when people buy into that, they can see how passionate, and you use the word authentic, Pete. People buy into that and they want to be on the ride with you. And that's amazing. That the speed of the growth is crazy. I love it. I'm so excited for you. Pete, what I love, I guess, is that for a healthy, nutritious meal, it's really the price of a takeaway, I guess, isn't it? And yet so much more healthy, it's more interactive within the family to have.
Yeah, exactly. And that's very much how we wanted to market it. Same price as a takeaway, but like you say, nutritious, really nutritious food, but that learning experience. We're not marketing a box of ingredients here. We're marketing a cookery class, a cookery lesson, and a learning
Yeah.
experience. So we've found that the feedback on that side of things, where we thought, we are a premium product to a certain extent, but at the same time, the value is really there because of the quality of ingredients, the amount of ingredients, plus the learning resources that you get. What's been really interesting, and especially for us as a business, and to also know that we're doing something right here, is we have over a 90% retention rate.
Wow.
We've still got,
That's brilliant, isn't it?
yeah, it's amazing. And in month 12 now, we've got 85% of customers who signed up whenever they signed up that are still with us now,
That's
which is just
fantastic.
incredible. So people are obviously really enjoying it, and price wise, they're seeing the values there,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
great for us. It's just fantastic to see people using it month and month and month. You know,
Yeah, it's
especially
brilliant.
when we know how much people are struggling at the moment. People don't
Yeah.
have the money, but they can obviously, they can see the value that we see in it. Of this is about the future. This is about, well,
Yeah.
my kid's going to uni with 20, 30 recipes behind him. My son's going to be wooing his girlfriend in the future.
But it's so true. Like I remember, I think I had a stock dish. I think a spag. My mum gave me like the family spag bowl recipe from. Seeing as we're from Birmingham, there's no real root of Italian in it, but very tasty. Thanks, mum. But I think I cooked that for the my friends when I first went to uni, and it's like I was a Martian from outer space. He's cooking spag bowl. And it's like yeah. And I love cooking, but it's almost what I love as well. That again, growing up with those skills, Pete, I love the fact that how sociable is being able to cook and to sit around a table and enjoy a meal together, to chat, to laugh. And if you're helping children do that, that must feel so rewarding. Pete, just like if I'm just having a quiet time, so I've watched Dragon's Den with my dinner, and then usually I'll just stick on Rick. I'm like, I can watch back to back Rick Stein. I love the travel aspect, his passion for food, seeing different cultures. And were you a fan of Keith Floyd? I loved as well. Who was your inspiration, kind of chef wise, when you were a youngster that you would dip into? Did you have one?
It's interesting that, because I'd probably go really boring, and say Jamie Oliver was a big
Yeah.
inspiration for me, because I'm completely self-taught. So I would watch YouTube videos. That's how I learned to cook. All different chefs. I love Rick Stein as well, Gordon Ramsay, but all for their own reasons. Jamie Oliver very much has this family style. It's about doing food to share. Whereas like your Gordon Ramsay, he's very much, good quality. Everything's cooked very well. It's fine dining. It's finding that balance between everything. So I've taken inspiration from so many different chefs, and it's more just like I say, I'd be watching on YouTube, and then whoever came up next, I'd go, "Oh, I like this.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll try and cook that, or I'll do my own interpretation of it." Um, so I'd say inspiration really has come from so many different chefs, but ultimately it's come from myself. I'm quite creative with my recipes, and all the recipes is Jnr.Chef are completely my recipes. So yeah, inspired from everyone really, everyone and anything. But I'd say the main inspiration for me was the travel.
Yeah.
So living in Bali, picking up so many different recipes from there. I cooked in some restaurants there and got some experience. My satay sauce recipe is adapted from a little Indonesian shack.
Wow.
Gave me their recipe, and Yeah, I was living in the French Alps and in Berlin, just picking up inspiration from everywhere. There's a big Turkish community in Berlin, so I do a lot of Turkish food and Middle Eastern food. Um, so yeah, like I say, from everything and anyone and everywhere.
Oh, it's so great. I've got to eat soon. It sounds fantastic. It's been so lovely to chat and hear your story, hear the passion behind just an idea and the wanting to help children, help families become closer together. I'm just so impressed with how you've had an idea and you've made it a reality through drive, through your authenticity, and I just want to commend you. And I think it's wonderful. You must feel very proud of what you've both achieved and are continuing to achieve.
Funny you say that. This is just me being honest again. I struggle to see what you're telling me, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
A lot of people will say to me, "Oh, it's amazing what you're doing. It's incredible." And yes, of course I see it. Of course I'm proud. But at the same time, I guess I don't see myself like others do. And that's a journey that I'm going through myself. And eventually I will, and hopefully I will. But for me, it's just keep going, keep inspiring kids, the quickest way to fail is to quit. So keep going and keep going. And, I'm seeing it more. I am feeling it more. And I said to Amy the other day, I do feel proud. And, I do feel so, inspired that we're inspiring others.
Yeah.
But it's taken a long time to get there. And it does, you probably understand with mental health issues as well.
Yeah.
That you do doubt yourself. You might have a positive day. And then the next day you wake up and feel like crap and you have to build yourself up again.
It's so difficult, isn't it, Pete? It's like some weeks I can be flying, meant in a great place. Then the self-doubt, even though I've taken alcohol out of the equation, the self-doubt can just appear from nowhere. I'm like, oh my goodness. And likewise, you seem quite like me, Pete, bubbly, effervescent, but I struggle to, if somebody says to me, "Oh, we love an episode of the pod," or I think my go-to is like, "Oh, really?" It's like, it's almost like embarrassed to be doing what you love and to be making a difference. I huge kudos for you guys. I think it's brilliant, and honestly, it's been a wonderful chat. And not only is Jnr.Chef helping people, but just people hearing your story and your background will be helping so many people. You put a big smile on my face. I love what you guys are about. I love the passion and the energy you're putting into a company that's helping future generations build confidence in the kitchen through food. I think it's wonderful. And thank you so much for joining me in Benjy's Cafe.
Cheers, Ben. Take care.
Thanks for popping into Benjy's Cafe with the brilliant Pete from Jnr.Chef. If you enjoyed the episode and fancy introducing Jnr.Chef to the budding chefs in your household, Benjy's Cafe podcast has partnered with Jnr.Chef to give you 25% off your first box. Easy to use, just visit www.jnrchef.co.uk and at checkout enter Benjy's Cafe 25. The details will be on the socials too. Get cooking, get having fun. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit follow so every episode gets sent straight to your phone, and if you can, please leave a review. No booking required, available wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget, a new episode every Tuesday. In episode 19, I'll be chatting to the actor Ollie Brooks. I'll get the kettle on. Have a great day.